Welcome to the members of the public. Notice of meeting. This meeting has been called in accordance with Schedule 12, Paragraph 9, Little 1 of the Local Government Act 1972. Public notice of the meeting is given in accordance with Schedule 12, Paragraph 10, Little 2 of that Act. Moving on to agenda item number 1. Apologies for absence. Sorry, Councillor Lehman.
Same old, can I please have a minute to leave this meeting to be improperly called, as we do not have a proper officer?
Thank you, Councillor Lehman. I believe you're wrong. If you're not happy with being in the meeting, by all means do not feel as if you have to stay.
I don't pitch the meeting, Madam Chair.
I appreciate. I'm just giving the advice back as I write and
Will
properly.
you please admit that I believe this meeting is being improperly called because we do not have a proper officer?
Thank you. Agenda item number 1. Apologies for absence.
So we have apologies from Councillor Blackwell, Councillor McLaren and Councillor Darren.
Thank you. Can we have someone to move the apologies, please? Councillor Howell, I have a seconder. Councillor Coghlan, all in favour? Any against? I think that was unanimous. Quite safe, was it? Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 2, declaration of interest. To declare any interest which members may have in the following agenda items. Do we have any declarations of interest, members? No? Thank you.
Can we have a circulator paper for people to sign a declaration of interest around the meeting, rather than you asking for it? We should be already doing that.
We'll look into that, Councillor Abbott, yeah. Agenda item number 3, public participation. Standing orders will be suspended for up to 15 minutes to allow for questions or statements submitted by members of the public, limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have any notification?
We don't have any notification.
Does our member of the public wish to speak? Thank you. Agenda item number 4, minutes of previous meetings. 4A, to approve as an accurate record minutes of the following meetings. Extraordinary full council meeting on the 28th of August. Or have anyone who wishes to move that we approve those minutes? Equally, if people want to have a minute to look through them. Councillor Coghlan?
Moved it.
Yeah, we're moving here, Councillor Coghlan. It's been moved by Councillor Coghlan, seconded by Councillor Mulheron. All in favour? Nice, thank you. Moving on to 4B.
May I abstain, please? May I abstain?
Apologies,
No,
before.
no,
Yeah,
abstain.
Councillor
Yes.
Lehman is abstaining. 4B, little 1. To receive the draft minutes of the following committee meetings. So we've got little 1, the extraordinary meeting of Human Resources on the 19th of August, and the extraordinary meeting of Human Resources on the 28th of August. Can I have someone to move? Councillor Lehman?
With regard to the minutes of the HR meeting of 19th of August 2025, Councillor Harston, in his capacity as Vice Mayor, opened the meeting and presented the first motion to call for a chair of the committee. Following the resolution of that motion, he handed the meeting over to Councillor Coghlan and left. This does not appear anywhere in the minutes. Can the Commission please explain to Council?
The next one. This, Councillor Lehman, this is to receive the minutes. We will discuss the minutes at the next HR meeting where any issues can be raised. This is
I'm not allowed to go to HR meetings, so
Sorry?
that's what we've done now. Please, we're receiving this. I was at that meeting. Right? I asked for, whilst addressing the meeting as a member of the public, Councillor Smith stated the minutes of the HR meeting on 29th of July were incorrect. This was not minuted. Whereas his less contentious statements in relation to employing someone to do the accounts was. The assistant clerk incorrectly advised the chair of the meeting regarding interaction with a member of the public while standing orders were suspended for the public participation. I asked this to be minuted, it has not been.
Councillor Lehman, if I could just interrupt for 1 second. If you send that complaint that you've got regarding the minutes, we will ensure that it's raised at the next HR meeting. Will that be all right for you? This is purely to receive the minutes this evening. I'm not throwing out your issue or concern over that. If you send it in, we'll make sure that's right.
I need this needs to be brought before all council, not just the HR this meeting. The minutes for that meeting bear very little resemblance to what actually happened. And this is being presented to council, asking them to receive. You're being asked to receive something which is fiction.
Well, I'm going to come to you for some advice.
Sorry, the minutes from the 19th of August. So if you look at...
Sorry, 28th of August.
Are we happy with the 19th? For now, are we happy with the 19th? The minutes from the 19th of August for the HR meeting? Councillor Amanda Smith.
Can I just confirm? I have some queries about the minutes for the 19th. But am I understanding that you're telling me that those have to be taken to the HR committee and that actually this council will receive the minutes as they stand?
That is the advice I'm
It's just
giving.
the HR committee will in regards to those minutes, can ask those minutes to be amended.
Rather than going round in circles, would it just be better not to receive these minutes until HR then looks at them and then bring them back to the next full council meeting?
You've heard the motion. Do I get a seconder to that? I'm going to take it as a motion actually. So do I have a seconder?
It goes back to HR first and then
I
comes back
didn't
to
see your
the
hand,
council.
Councillor Riddles. I would definitely listen to you if you would hold your hand. Can I ask members, it is difficult when I'm sat at this level, can you really make sure that I can see your hand raised if you have a point to make? I'm going to hold that because apparently Councillor Riddles had asked to speak.
When we bring any minutes to be received at the council meeting, and you're saying that it's going to go back to the committee, then it means the rest of the councillors haven't got a chance to say if they think there's something wrong, because they won't be at the next meeting of that committee.
Councillor Riddles, I've just explained to Councillor Lehman, I have no issue if any councillor has a problem, and I will go away. I'm not a town clerk. I will go away and I will seek advice. However, what I will say is that if any councillor has an issue on any committee and it's on minutes to be received, then please put them in writing and we'll ensure that they're raised. I'm asking you to bear with us. As I've already said, I am not a town clerk. We are trying our best to keep this council moving forward. It's not going to be pushed under a carpet. We're not going to ignore your concerns. This is not a one-man band. It's a full council. And I will come back to you all and let you know what that decision is. I'm just asking for a little bit of cooperation here and enabling us to move forward as a full council. Are members okay with that? Thank you. So, with Councillor Mr. Smith.
Sorry, Madam Mayor. Just that in the minutes there are things that have been implemented that may or may not be correct. I want to say that these items are just going to carry on as agreed by HR. Or how do I come back? I'm asking the question. How do we raise that point, or how do we raise it?
I will take advice. I'm not a town clerk. I can't tell you.
You raise it through the chair of the committee when that chair is established. That's the proper process. And I feel as well that when the minutes of the town council, you don't collate every point, otherwise you would get basically war and peace in each document. So,
Councillor Lehman, please. Do you know what? I'm
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, but...
Can we ask for some respect? The
I'm
assistant
trying to.
clerk is speaking. I will
I
let
just raise
you
my
come
hand
in.
for
I will
when
let you
it's
come in.
finished, that's all. I only raised my hand so you're aware I'd like to speak when the assistant clerk is finished.
So in regards to some of the minutes I requested for it to be minuted, that has been minuted. But really, you're going through the motions and then actually the resolutions and what was resolved in regards to those motions. I mean, you know, the minutes are basically a record of those, a record of those motions and the outcome of those motions. Not necessarily everything that is discussed at that meeting.
Councillor Lehman.
I do appreciate what the assistant clerk said. However, he also said that items asked to be minuted were minuted. At that particular meeting, I asked for 3 items to be minuted. None of them have been.
Please raise those issues, Councillor Lehman, and we'll address that in the minute.
Well, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, but what the assistant clerk has just said is incorrect.
Can I just get Mayor Williams, please? Jackie, sorry, Councillor, what do you think is the best thing to do in that? We'll seem to be able to move forward here. What do you want to do?
As what normally happens in this instance, the minutes are, the matters arising from the minutes are discussed at council. They're commented on, and the minutes are then revised and resubmitted. That's the normal state of affairs.
So, I mean, we can re-examine Councillor Lehman's suggestions in regards to what she feels is incorrect on the minutes. And then, so if you don't want to receive them, I think there is a mover and a second not to receive the minutes until they've been to the committees and then come back to the full council.
And I have assured you that all... One second, because it's difficult to talk over each other. I'm not being rude.
Right.
I have assured you that any issues you've got with the minutes, they will be looked at and addressed. I can't say more than that.
Thank you.
There's been a mover and a seconder that we defer these minutes back to HR to be addressed because of the issues on it. Can I go to a vote on that, please, councillors? All in favour? Any against? We against?
I'm favour.
You're in favour?
Objecting, but I have got a point of order on it.
Councillor Lane.
Because this matter came up 2 or 3 meetings ago when Adam was still chairman, and I brought the matter up about matters arising. He said it was illegal, and I asked him to put in the yellow book, and he wouldn't. But he came back to me after the meeting and said, sorry, I got it wrong. We can't have matters arising on minutes that have been approved, but we should have matters arising on received minutes, and we always had them as an item, and it's dropped off, and he said he would put them back on.
Well, in this instance, he's not here. I've already said tonight I'm not a town clerk.
So
we have an assistant clerk who is doing 2 jobs at once, doing the very best that he can, and I'm asking councillors to bear with us. We will go away. I seek advice on every single thing I do with this council, and I've told you all I do that. I will continue to do that. But until we know...
Like I say, we cannot minute every discussion in a meeting. You basically, the main reason for minute is basically recording the decisions based on the motion.
It's been passed and voted on unanimously.
And that's just what
we're
we're
going
going
to put this
to do.
Thank you, Phil. We're going to move on because we could go around robin all night. We've said we will address this issue. Councillor Mr Smith.
So, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just for clarification, I think, could you look at some of the decisions that were made by HR in reference to our terms of reference? Because I think some of the decisions were made were against our terms of reference.
Again,
Thank
if
you,
you
Madam
could
Mayor.
raise all these issues that you've got, we will look at everything. Okay? Thank you, members. Moving on to agenda number 5, approval of expenditure. To approve payments made between the 1st of July to the 31st of August 2025, and they are attached. Now, I know Councillor Amanda Smith has raised some issues over the financial aspect of agenda item number 5, and again, I am going to ask councillors if they could just bear with us in this instance. We are finding ourselves in extreme circumstances, and the assistant clerk has done everything he can to bring as much information to you, up-to-date information as he can. So moving on to the expenditure. Do any members have any issues to raise on the expenditure or any comments? Councillor Richards.
Right, starting at 105, it says refund payment and refreshments, and that Phil Trump has actually crossed his name on that. Is that for any particular reason?
It's just guidelines in regards to not printing anyone's name who is not a councillor.
Can I just carry on down? Christmas lights.
If you could give the number out.
Sorry, 115. What is that payment for?
Right, that's for the Christmas lights.
Yeah. So,
It's basically a deposit towards the Christmas lights that the Christmas lights committee, the town council is working on awarding the contract to the relevant company that's been awarded that contract.
So you've got to pay a deposit for that.
No, fine,
That secure the lights.
So it says deposit for Christmas lights.
I just want that highlighting because it might come in at a later date. But I should bring that up at a later date. 1, 2, 3. Is Gordon Fletcher, is that our previous? Is the annual audit, is that our internal audit?
I believe that was for the internal audit. I think it was, in regards to,
So it's our internal audit. 124, £91 for YLCA Council Chairing Skills Training.
Yeah.
What was that? I thought that was council.
Well,
There is a training offered to all councillors should they wish to take it up. There is a budget for councillor training, and obviously a councillor was decided to take
so
it.
councillors, has taken that training, so I believe, yes.
So that if some councils have taken up that training,
Yes.
I believe so.
wouldn't it be useful for all councillors to know who they are so that we can take advice from them?
Well, the training is offered to all councillors should you wish to take it. So it's really the onus of each individual councillor to decide whether they want to take up the opportunity of accessing the training that's available. It's not the responsibility of individual councillors to feed that back.
We can use
Councillor
that.
Councillor Riddle speaking, and then I will come to you.
I was that councillor. It's a valid expense.
So thank you for bringing that clarification.
It's just that we all have skills and we bring them to the table, so if someone's done
Yes, but Councillor Riddles, we cannot impose on other councils. If Councillor Lehman wishes to pass that information on to any other councillor, I'm sure she may want to, but other councillors may not. We cannot impose that on councillors. The training is there, it's accessible to each and every councillor. It's your choice if you access it. And, you know, it's commendable that some councillors do.
With respect to that, Madam Chair, there was a whole load of handouts with that, and I keep meaning to go back to Gina Spence to ask if it's okay to pass it on to the council.
And
I just haven't got around to it yet. I do apologise.
Councillor Mulherron.
Can I just say that when I did the planning training a few years ago, I made copious notes, and I know that I've given them to subsequent people joining the planning committee, so that whilst they can still undergo the training, and I can write loads of stuff down, they can just use the notes because it's the same training.
Point of order.
And I also gave it to, might be Michael and I think so.
Could I raise a point of order, please?
Sorry, the public participation.
I'm not talking about public participation, it's a point of order due to the regulations that have been breached by not providing information to the public. Bear it in mind when you're ticking your boxes in your AGAR in June.
We certainly will.
Thank you.
Just one more. Why have we suddenly, with window cleaning,
What number, Councillor Riddle?
sorry, 138.
Thank you.
We never used to pay VAT. Why have we suddenly started paying VAT on this item?
138.
It was £180.
I think that when the clean some of this tax free, so it's free has to charge, then he has to charge us.
Probably gone over the part.
I'll have to check that invoice.
We'll check that and let councillors know the
It's
outcome.
probably gone over that.
Councillors, please.
135, local government resource centre, audit services. What is that?
So that was basically a member of the LGRC coming in to look at the objections.
Okay.
And I think the report is being formulated at the moment in regards to those objections.
So that is another expense on having.
But yeah, that's an expense. That's an expense of someone.
That's
Obviously,
from
there was
the
a
member
number
of
of,
the public objecting to something, that's another expense for that.
well, obviously there was a number of objections that were put in by I don't know who. And
Councillors, it's echoing up the
So
sound
that-
when you're speaking, please.
so the previous town clerk has obviously then asked someone to come in from the LGRC to look at those objections.
Councillor Abbott, I believe you had your hand raised.
Thank you, Mayor. My concern is what's been said regarding the cleaning of the windows. And I think it's rather excessive, very excessive actually.
We'll be looking into it and we will
If
bring
you
that
would,
back to our
because
councillors.
I think we're being ripped off.
I think it's a contract that's been in place for quite a few years. So I mean, all these contracts could probably be looked at and re-investigated.
On the windows, there was up in and out for £70 a car. In and out. Now we're on £230 odd for less than an hour's work. I'm sorry, but it was looking at.
Thank you,
They're
Councillor
yet to be
Abbott.
ripped off.
Did you have any more points to raise, Councillor Abbott?
Oh, that's it. And,
Thank you. Councillor Redmond, then Councillor Hall.
Yeah, with regard to this, I don't know where it's come from, but there seems to be a propensity now to kick everything down the road to another committee to have a look at it. But for example, these, I mean, Councillor Smith has a list of questions. These should be addressed here and now in open council, so the public have the chance to listen to it.
Councillor Amanda Smith is sat there, she wishes to speak.
Yes, I know, but
I haven't stopped her
I'm
speaking.
going to ask that these be presented to council here and now, discussed openly.
Is it your list, Councillor
No, it
Redmond?
is
Because
Councillor
I've never
Smith.
stopped
Right.
Councillor
Right.
Amanda Smith speaking. I don't know what the issue is. You can speak all you want. I've never
Look.
stopped you. Councillor Amanda Smith.
Sorry, I understood that because I had these questions in first that I was expecting a reply after this meeting, so that's why I wasn't attempting to
Well,
address
that's
them.
how we would have looked at it, but Councillor Lehman seems to think we
council
should
would
deal with it
the public will
differently.
not be aware of this.
I'm struggling to hear two people at once, I'm sorry.
Okay, very quickly then, going through my things. My first point was that we haven't actually had our reconciliation for the quarter. Legally, we are required to have to receive reconciliation against the budget every quarter. So we're 1 quarter behind as well. It would have been very useful with these expenditures if we'd had a list of incomes as well from it. For example, I would expect to see the toilet income coming through shortly. The contract ended in July, so I would have expected that sort of income to come through. And that sort of thing is very important, that councillors know what it is as soon as it comes along. And it gives us more time to sort it all out before we reach our next budget to set it for next year in December. So that was the first point I made. The second point...
Councillor Amanda Smith, I'll just call you Amanda for thing.
So
Phil said he can come back on that point. Do you want him to come back on each point?
Yes, by all means.
So yeah, I mean, yes, that would have been preferable. However, obviously the town clerk resigned, so that kind of pushed everything back. So the plan, so we're working on it to get it up to date and to the next meeting in October. But again, with the town clerk resigning, it's pushed everything backwards.
I very much appreciate the situation that the assistant town clerk finds himself in. It is something that I was highlighting. We never got a reconciliation in the time that we had the previous town clerk. So it's something that we really do need to get on top of as soon as possible. It is something that there could be an objection to, and that is the last thing that anyone is what man is saying.
I think if I could just follow on with that Phil has found himself having to pick up on an awful lot that should have been done that hasn't been done. So we are working, and he is working as fast as he can to bring everything up.
I understand the situation. I have in the past made suggestions to the previous town clerk that maybe we should look at employing a bookkeeper services just to get us back up to speed. Whether that's something that we should be looking at now, just an extra pair of hands might help.
I'm happy to do that. I feel like he's pretty good on P&L.
That would be brilliant, Councillor, how we need all the help we can get to bring us up to standard and really back up to the point where we need to be.
Really, I think we should present a P&L every month.
Yeah, I mean that would be preferable. Like
so that everybody can see everything in
Yeah.
under.
yeah, again, that would be that's the objective. However,
Profit and loss.
There's a lot of
It's a profit and loss, so you see expenditure and income.
Thank you.
No, but it's still.
The second point, once again, I understand the situation that the assistant clerk's finding himself in. It was just a reminder that we have now paid out for the new insurance company, and the previous town clerk did promise that he would circulate the cover that we were being covered for, because we didn't have it at the meeting that we agreed to go with the company, and also the breakdown, for example, once again, I'm interested in the toilets, how much was the toilets insurance cover? Once again, it is a situation that I appreciate that everything's been held up. There is another outlay of £150, not very much this time, but on the 14th of August, Diamond Business Services were once again paid £150. That brings the total for this financial year up to £2,250. Could you confirm, or could it be confirmed at a future date to this council, what service exactly they were providing?
again, yeah. So again, I will go back to the previous town clerk. I mean, he should be answering those. He's not obviously no longer town clerk. I'll try and.
When I brought it up the last time, if it was any help, I was told it was for a project officer. But I asked around the table and nobody seemed to know what the project was. So if that could be uncovered, that would be a fantastic improvement on the current situation.
So I will endeavour to give you a full answer to that question.
If I could just say, Amanda, we received your email highlighting all these issues, and you would have got a response as soon as we could have had another discussion to go through everything, because there are areas in there I don't know what it is, and obviously
And I appreciate it was last minute. I have other work to do, and I appreciate it was very last minute, so my apologies for that. We've already covered the audit services from Councillor Riddle, what Councillor Riddle said, so I'll leave that one off. There were 2 payments to Wolf Noble, which were just listed as building services. It would be very useful if they could be broken down into just what project that was involved in would be sufficient.
Yeah, in regards to Wolf Noble, there's obviously there's a big project in regards to in the Planet Art Gallery with the exhibition, but also we've been things that need maintaining. So there's quite a lot of maintenance items in there as well.
But as I say, if it's just obvious what projects it was that we were doing or anything else like that, that would suffice. There is another issue with the Barclay card, which the previous town clerk did promise would be resolved in this financial year. But once again, we're just getting the Barclay card. So that was another thing that I brought up. I did mention the Christmas lights deposit. I just wondered if we actually knew whether the Christmas lights had now been dispatched.
We've got an update for that later on in the meeting.
Fine enough. And there is also a query on the VHS hygiene services, which I brought up last year again. I appreciate, once again, that this is a situation for this meeting, but we do do seem to be paying out an extraordinarily large amount. It does say a hygiene contract. I'm puzzled why over 2 months we've got 3 payments and why those payments vary so vastly in amounts. I mean, one was for £400, one was for £98, one was for £754. So over 2 months, that's £1,263. It's a lot of money to be paying out on the hygiene contract. And as I say, I'm not sure why there's such big variances on them or why there's 3 units in the period. And finally, there's absolutely no expenditure for the toilets, which I really can't understand.
So, yeah, I mean, I'll go back to PHS. It's an interesting one, PHS. We pay for different things from PHS. And again, I can quite happily find all the invoices and then collate all the different items that we pay for. And one of them was for, I think, and we pay a yearly contract as well. It's been going, I know it's something that's been going on for quite a few years, I believe. But that's what we're paying for PHS. In regards to the toilets, so if you look, Everflow is down. We get one bill, one invoice for water, and that covers all our assets. So that covers the toilets and the museum.
So that's changed this year then, because in last year's accounts we had it broken down for each individual toilet.
So,
so the
moment we're just getting
for the money that was spent for the Planet's water for overflow, and then the money for each toilet was broken down, because at the time, I remember distinctly, because at the time of Queen, because we only had 3 toilets that we've ever received a water bill for in that year.
Yeah.
So yeah, so at the moment we pay direct debit, and the invoice comes in, and then but it is basically the water supply is for all the assets that belong to the town council. And if I look at that invoice, we can break it down. So if you want me to break it down into each asset, I can do that for you for the next meeting.
It would be really useful for the toilet working party to have a breakdown of it doesn't need to be for each toilet. I'm quite happy to accept it just across the toilets, but it would be really useful to have that so that we can keep an eye on exactly what the water expenditure is.
Okay. Is that complete, Amanda?
Yes.
Yeah. We will follow up. We're not pushing anything away here. It's just catching up and having the time to do it.
Yeah.
Councillor Lane, you wanted to come in.
Please, yeah, going back to the Wilton Noble construction and building supplies expenditure. The assistant clerk said that this was for a project in Planet Art Gallery. Should that not be going through the Planet Art Gallery charity books rather than ours?
Some of it was, and some of it
I think there's a breakdown.
So there's a breakdown. So what tends to happen is that Planet Art Gallery will we recharge the Planet Art Gallery from any costs that incur onto the town council.
Okay. And again, the toilets, the contract with Danfo requires them to give us a monthly report with income, expenditure. Are we getting those?
We are chasing it.
So that's on my agenda, is to make sure we start getting those monthly reports.
The point on that,
So why
we're not getting them. We're not getting them.
No, you never had them.
We have raised
No, you have had them.
Right.
The previous clerk probably didn't get the look. I can't just kind of magic everything and say that.
No. He's saying.
I'm going
It
to.
will be done. It's been forwarded.
That's on the agenda to get those reports.
Councillor
Sorry, Councillor Lehman and myself had a meeting with the representatives, and they agreed, and definitely for the first month, because the town clerk sent them across to us, we did get a full set of reports, including a breakdown of all vandalism and every
photograph of every
photograph of everything that had occurred that had gone wrong in the toilets, and a full breakdown of that, a full breakdown of all the costings, including the charity donations that were done it, and the number of people that had actually entered and exited. We weren't sure how we calculated them, but we were given. So for at least 1 month after that meeting, they did produce all those goods. It must have been, I think it was June. I think it was for the month of June. And then after that, it's gone quiet again. But they also asked for 3 monthly meetings, so we are actually due another meeting with them.
We will follow this up. Councillor Riddles, and then we're going to move on this.
Just going back to the water, I believe it was Easy Flow who would pay for the water for the museum.
Everflow.
No, before that.
I don't
It
know.
was separate.
How was it?
But it is really important that we have to keep the toilets and the museum water separate, because we have to account for the water used in the museum in the total of maintenance, so that the net can then work out.
So that's already in process, Councillor Riddles. I've already spoken to Lynn Phil about a recharge regarding the charges that they owe us, like water, gas, electricity, etc.
But we need to get it separate. We can't be having it put on here.
I mean, that's for the record. So if you want a separate, if you want it to be broken down to each asset of the town council, then we can do that.
I think it's important that we keep the museum and the toilet separate. I'm not that. It would be nice to have every single toilet separated, but it is essential that we keep this museum and the toilet separate, because we have a legal obligation to live and fill.
There are some valid points being raised, and I think that once we're in a position where we've recruited a new town clerk, we can look at all these things and have much more detailed information before us. I think we've got to be mindful, we can't expect that while we're still without a town clerk. The pressure on Phil's role is enormous, and I think we've got to all take that into account. We do have a duty of care for Phil, but that doesn't mean to say these actions will not be followed through. They're all noted, and we will be taking that on board. Councillor Abbott, then Councillor Hart.
Thank you. The question I'm asking you is, these things that are getting put aside, will you be discussing them again and not throwing the 6 months rule in because they've already been aired?
Absolutely not. These things have been highlighted as issues councillors want addressing. That will be done. It's not a thing that we're saying tonight, oh, well, we're not going to look at this for another 6 months. But we can't do it until we've got the staff capacity.
Why I'm asking you this is because on the previous class we asked about an expense that was paid to a solicitor for his own personal use and used against the council. He said it would be looked at and brought to us. He's gone now. So I'm asking you if you're saying that the 6 month rule will not apply, that's fine, because it can be brought up again.
We will be looking at this and bringing back information, but I can't stress we can only do so much. Councillor Hall has very kindly offered to come in and help, and we will be getting on top of this as quick as we can, but the sooner we have a town clerk back in here, the better. Councillor Hall.
Just on the 10 o'clock, can I just ask, is that advert out for that role? And who decides who gets the 10 o'clock position? I'm really interested in that, because I applied for that role and didn't even get an interview.
What will happen, we will be having a meeting of HR in as soon as possible following this. We do have a job description that was worked on intently and intensely by the HR committee. So as soon as we can get that advert out, we will be doing Councillor Hall. Then what happens, the applications, if there is any or however many they are, they go to the HR committee, and a panel is selected from the HR committee that will go through the interview process with each and every applicant.
So I'm not being rude or disrespectful to anybody at the table or the HR committee. Is the HR committee qualified to make that decision?
Well, we've always had the support of a qualified town clerk, which is why we need the town clerk in place, because they're our paid officer who supplies advice and support to us. But that's as much as I can say at the moment, Councillor Hart. So, gone through the finances. Do we have any more questions on the approval of expenditure? If not, could I have someone move that we approve the payment? Councillor Coughlin, second to Councillor Abbott. All in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? What? Thank you.
I don't think Councillor Wood, did you put your hand up? Sorry. Yes.
No, well, because I wasn't at previous, which is just been discussed.
So it would be an
I think
abstention.
You abstained?
Yes, well,
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
No,
you're not saying you.
no,
Agenda item number 6, town development and harbour actions. 6.1, whaleboats. Can we have an update on that?
Just on the whalebones, John Woodhead from North Yorkshire Council has written a letter to Anchorage, to the Mayor of Anchorage, basically asking the potential, what would the potential be for the Anchorage to source some new whalebones for the town. So he's written, he's not received a reply, I've not received a reply from John to say anything else apart from that. So that's basically where we are on the whalebones. So he's basically requested Anchorage to provide some new whalebones.
I thought the mayor was going out to get some.
You never know. Councillor Wyatt.
Just for clarification for new members, we tweeted with Anchorage. So that's
Any other comment, Councillor Cobb?
this was brought up at the last town development meeting. In this day and age, do people really want actual whaleboats? Is it ethical enough to be carried on? This is not my opinion, this is what people have been asking. Should we have an alternative? We could get a local engineering company, local blacksmith would make us alternative, or do we want original whaleboats?
You want to ask me?
Yes, please, I've got comments, yeah.
I've got Councillor Lane and then Councillor Riddles. And then
With respect to Councillor Cochran, the whale doesn't need them anymore. Right? I mean, we're not culling whales. We're not out killing whales for them. These will be naturally dead whales.
Well, they would be killing them, Anchorage.
No, they won't.
please,
No.
it's very difficult if people are talking two at a time.
The people of Anchorage, the indigenous tribes, are still allowed to catch whales. That's perfectly all right. But the bones are off. They're a waste product. So we're actually recycling, which is surely must be good, right?
Councillor Riddles.
I walk past the wetlands every day, and it is the most photographed thing. If we do anything to upset that balance, I think we wouldn't be appreciated by the visitors. They want to win those. We might not be able to get the perfect thing that we need to have. I mean, we might have to put fiberglass on them or whatever, but they need to look like whalebones, and they really do. It's really, really important for women.
I'm going to shout this out. I've got Councillor Mr Smith, then I've got Councillor Wood, then I've got Councillor Wild, and then I've got Councillor Kelly. So, firstly, Councillor Mr Smith.
I'd like to think that we can replace like with like, providing we can get them at a sensible cost, and we can pass all the environmental issues.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Wood.
I just wanted to say, surely around, I would have thought that around the coast of England, the north east, there's tragically quite enough dead whales to sort of sum locally.
They've got to be...
Which is sad, but true.
I've got Councillor Wild next.
I sort of agree entirely with what Councillor Riddles just said, no shot. And I really agree with every word he said. He's completely right. It will be, we can't have raw time whalebones or some wooden replicas or something like that. They're almost a World Heritage site. People come from... I was up on the cliff last week, I saw 10 brides. I was walking the dogs and there was 10, I'm sure you'll see it, because you were there regular with your dog, aren't you? There were so many brides having the picture taken in their whaleboats. We can't do anything other than maintain them or get them more. That's my opinion.
I'll take a last comment on it, and that's Councillor Kelly.
Oh, right. First of all, I think size matters, so I think this coast, I think they have to be fairly large, and I think possibly on this coast we won't get that. However, like as like, I do agree that it
Yes.
I mean, we're going to be back at the same problem in 30 years' time. And in terms of what it might cost, I do think there are so many very, very good replica materials nowadays that have never been used before. That's just my point in terms of life expectancy. I just think it's another problem that we're looking at again and again.
I think it's something that we maybe push down the road to consider, depending on the response that John Woodder gets and brings back to us.
Yeah, I think when he has a response,
So-
he'll get back to me and we'll
If
report
they
it back
want
to
to see
the...
live weather, they've got the museum.
Councillor Coughlin, Councillor Abbott, and then
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah, thank you for all your comments. You're all to blame, but we get real ones. Seriously, if that's what everybody wants, that is wonderful. That's what we should be having. The Japanese can do wheelbarrows, but they're not very big. The ones that we have, how tall they are. You have to be very short and right.
already.
That didn't come out very well.
I'm imagining a turkey wishbone, that's all, sorry.
They are the biggest whalebones that you can get, are the ones that we've got. That is the,
Yes.
they are the biggest.
Yes, thank you.
Councillor Abbott, you wanted to have the
Yeah,
final word?
just to cap it off. It is part of our history about scores being the whalebone, and that's why they're there. And Whitby, as a fishing port, that's what brings affection. It's part of the history of the town. So, you know, not to have them is going to be very sad.
I would agree.
And this set of whalebones that we have now got endorsed by George W. Bush to say that it could leave America to come here. So, you know, we do have a bit of honour with them, and we do have presidents sign signatures to fetch them here. So,
Yeah.
I think
It is
it's
important. The town is well recognised for the whalebones alongside Captain Cook's statue, so it is important. But we will bring an update as and when that comes in, councillors.
Can you say one quick thing?
Extremely quickly,
When I
councillor.
went to Falkland Islands, there were whalebones all across the Falklands, and they were resin coated, or some sort of coating, because of the sea and the weather.
Yeah.
But they've had them a long, long time, and they've been preserved and special.
Thank you, members. I think we've thoroughly discussed that, and obviously we'll bring an update as soon as we hear. 6.2. Any other matters that councillors want to raise in relation to town development or harbour? Councillor Rivers.
I think it's very important that we impress on North Yorkshire that we need signs around the bottom of cliff edges, telling them how dangerous they are. That we used to have them all over the place, and there are very few now. We really do. I mean, I can't believe that North Yorkshire don't owe the visitors a duty of care. Because, you know, we've had 4 people die going over the top, you know. I know maybe we can't stop them all, but I don't think people really realise how cliff edges they are. I mean, they're absolutely vertical, these spots, and we should have signs.
Well, Councillor Brown.
Having come from the Lake District where people fall off mountains constantly, there's not a single sign saying, beware of the mountain. I think most people are aware that cliffs will fall, and I certainly, whenever I'm up there with my grandchildren, I'm holding their hands good and firm and saying, stay away from the edge.
I think
But I mean, there is this constant, I mean, down by beyond the slipway, that's always falling, and you can see it, and you see people sitting below on the beach, and you think, has it not occurred to you? But we can be too much of an addy state sometimes, and somebody will complain about too many signs being appearing.
Councillor Wood, then Mulherron, and then I'll bring in Councillor Kelly.
The bit between us and Salisbury Bay, that is just falling to pieces. I mean, I was there the other night, and it was, I mean, it's a bit scary. I mean, it's not super, you know, it's true to know what you're doing there, but you know, it is falling apart at many, many places, and that means it's not actually going to stop anymore.
Thank you. Councillor Mulherron.
Maybe it does need to be signs, particularly near the upland ravine, because what you get there is you get people actually hacking at the cliffs, and you can actually see the cracks, the lines in the cliff, and you have had falls along there. I know the falls might actually be more towards Sands End. I would worry about that corner of the golf course.
Thank you. Councillor Kelly.
I totally agree. I actually would find it very distressing to find lots and lots of signs everywhere at the edge of it. I think it has to be obvious at the beginning and maybe at the very end, or both edges. But to have signs along the path, I think is a real shame. And maybe just be looking at maybe bringing a path sign inwards. I mean, that's the only alternative. But I do think having signs along the walkway would be a real shame. I think that's the reason a lot of people want to walk, is to get away from that sort of
That's a question. We have, just a comment to add to that, Councillor. Keep off the grass. It's all over the place. But nobody, just keep off the grass.
Councillor Mr Smith and then Councillor Wilde.
Thank you. Just recently there's a lot of graffiti happening from around the harbour. We asked MIC to look at graffiti in the town there.
Could you give us a list of where it is at the moment, Mr Smith, just so that we can pass that on and ask them to, just have a look everywhere else as well. Thank you. Councillor Wilde.
I just want to make a point that there's been, as a member of the Arden Line, there's been quite a few instances recently of dogs going over the cliff that haven't been on leads. So people perhaps don't need to be reminded. It would be good if everybody was as responsible as everybody else, but I think people do need to be reminded that dogs should be kept on a lead and that parts of the cliff are dangerous, because there's so many people who don't seem to take that on board. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Coughlin.
Just a quick one. Could we have a contact for people from Yorkshire Council responsible for cleaning up Whitby, particularly Baxter Gate, that we can ring them up or report to them and say, would you please come and clean the bus station? Would you please come and clean, is it Tennyson's Terrace? Between
This has been highlighted actually, Councillor Coughlin.
Right.
So we are following through, aren't we, Phil? But certainly if you have any issues in any certain points, just fire an email in, and then it would be better if we just contact through one avenue, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
fine, thank you.
Councillor Lehman.
But yeah, on that point, does North York Council provide a schedule of dates and times when they come and visit and clean us? Or is
Not
there
to
anyone
my
getting
knowledge.
next?
We'll certainly
They have
ask.
schedules for gully cleaning, so
Yeah,
That's
can we ask them for that?
highways do the gully cleaning. So, like the mayor has pointed out, that it is on an agenda of a different group that's been looking at Baxter Gate.
We'll certainly follow it up though, because it would be useful to know if they do have a schedule.
Street cleaners.
Yeah. Yeah.
When and when we can expect them.
Yeah. Wonderful. Do we have any more updates?
So they got the lights.
That's the street cleaner.
Yeah. I've seen that before. Would you want to pass them on? Is that what you're doing?
No, I think they was going to read it.
Would you like to
Go with
speak
it.
to it? Yeah. We have an update on Christmas lights. I'm going to let the assistant clerk update everyone on that.
So, Christmas lights. So, obviously, the contract was awarded to a new company called Christmas Lights, who's going to provide the Christmas lights. They've sent out a contractor to test all the infrastructure. So, that test came back not very positive. It wasn't a very positive outcome in regards to most of the infrastructure needs repairs or needs replacing with the correct the correct switches and health and safety equipment in those columns and on the gantries. So the initial cost was over £12,000 to do those repairs and provide new infrastructure for the Christmas lights. They've come back again with that was another quote in regards to, this was questioned and the Mayor has been completely aware of the situation from the start. And they've come back with another quote which was £6,171.48. And also the information that I only found out this morning that the Church Street columns are going to be replaced next year by new columns. So which would basically suggest that there'd be no point paying for equipment on those columns when they're going to replace them next year. So that would brought the price down. If you say that brings the price down to £5,166.48. I'm still waiting. North Yorkshire Council still haven't provided the full report on that infrastructure in regards to what they're willing to pay for. But also the Christmas Lights Company are wanting to get on and order the equipment that's necessary for those columns and that infrastructure. So really it's been brought to the committee this evening, full council this evening for a basically decision on that basically.
If we pay for the lights now, then we could request payment back from North Yorkshire Council, couldn't we?
Well,
but we are not sure just how much they are willing to be quite blunt with you, Tim, Phil and myself met with a representative of North Yorkshire Council a couple of days ago, and quite honestly, they want the Town Council to pay the full bill. We've argued the point that one of their engineers came out at the beginning of the year and didn't highlight any issues with the columns. So therefore, we went ahead and we haven't budgeted for anything like this. So in my mind, it's the responsibility of North Yorkshire Council. The areas they did raise issues about, we took note of, and we've worked accordingly with that.
So that was reported to the Christmas Lights.
Absolutely, which they all know. So we're in this position, do we pay for these lights now, the remedies to make sure the land standards will take our lights, and then claim back from North Yorkshire Council, because time is of the essence now, but that is entirely up to councillors to make that decision. Councillor Hall, Councillor Amanda Smith.
So they've already paid.
I apologise.
Sorry, Chris. They've already.
My fault.
The council's already paid the deposit, though, haven't they? £16,500. You've already paid that.
Yeah, that deposit's been paid, yeah. So
that's to the light company.
That's the light company.
Yeah, it's the light company that are saying that these repairs need to be made.
So the light company of their own subcontractor.
Yeah.
They sent out the
And
subcontractor.
they didn't highlight that in the beginning.
No, that wasn't highlighted at the beginning then.
That should have been the contract. Did they send somebody out?
No, sorry, when we had a walk, so previously we walked around with the engineer from North Yorkshire Council who highlighted the issues of the pillars on Marine Parade in regards to not being able to give them a test to test the strength of those pillars. So he advised basically then to change go from a motif to a light which wraps around basically. Yeah. So that advice was taken on board, and that was reported to the Christmas Lights Committee, and then the Christmas Lights Committee decided to go with that replacement instead of the motif. So everything else, there was nothing else was highlighted in regards to that walk around. And again, previously, I think the same happened last year where an engineer went round and said, yeah, these columns are fine to use. So it's frustrating that the issues that are being raised now weren't raised on those walkarounds. So then the town council could have budgeted for that extra expense.
The argument, if I can pop in there from North Yorkshire Council, is it's their infrastructure, but they don't need Christmas lights. Yeah. That's our sort of request. So therefore they argue the point that they shouldn't have to pay for the fittings to accommodate the Christmas lights. And as we're arguing, had they made that point at an earlier point in the year, we could have budgeted for that. But I've got you, Councillor, and I'm going to Councillor Riddles, Councillor Amanda Smith, Councillor Mr Smith, and then Councillor Wilde.
So, Christmas Lights Company, they have no responsibility for the safety of things, because surely if you were putting in a contract to do something, that you would have gone around and checked on those, so shouldn't they be responsible?
Well, as I understand it, it's their engineer that's gone around and said we're not happy fitting them to the actual existing connections at the moment. They've raised the issue, haven't they, Phil?
So the Christmas Lights company, who was chosen, they sent out their subcontractor. I mean, I think the previous clerk had asked for all the infrastructure to be tested through the new company that's taking on the Christmas lights, and they've sent out their subcontractor to do that testing. And they've come back initially with a quote of over £12,000. But on that meeting we had a couple of days ago, they come back with another quote of £6,171.48. Then we found out this morning that the columns on Church Street are going to be removed and replaced next year. So, and then he even said that they would then fit the new light infrastructure to those columns. But he's also said that they're happy to pay for mistakes they've made in the conversation we've had. But I'm still waiting for that report, basically, to say what are they willing to pay for.
It's just that I mean, I'd say again, I would have thought that if you're going to take a contract, you go around and you assess it and you say this is how much we want. And if there's something else that comes up, that's tough luck on the contractor as far as I can see. Unless they've got an exemption in their contract. The only other thing the only other thing that I do have is that there are rumours going around about the solvency of Christmas lights. That's all. Just
we
rumours.
can't discuss anything like that.
That's fine.
I'm going to bring in Councillor Amanda Smith, then Councillor Mr Smith, and then Councillor Wilde.
My point is, first of all, are we absolutely certain, because we commissioned these new lights to be made and we were on a very short time span, are we absolutely certain that those lights are going to arrive in this country in time for them to be put up? Because I certainly can't sanction us spending even more money after what I believe to be very low reserves that we already have. And if actually those lights are not even going to turn up, that's just throwing good money after bad.
Do you think they're not going to turn up?
My calculations on time span that we were given for the Christmas lights to be put on board the ship in order to arrive here on time, they needed to be on board the ship this week.
That's because we paid the deposit quickly, didn't we?
We paid the deposit, yes, we've kept, as far as I'm aware, we keep that. But my question is, are the Christmas lights on a ship on their way to us? Because that makes a very big difference to this decision that we're going to make now.
Would you like to come in on that?
Yeah, so again, so I got another update this morning off the Christmas Lights Company, all happening today, regarding the date of arrival. So he's saying the date of arrival will be the 5th of the 11th.
May I ask, is that the arrival in our ports? Is that the passage through customs?
So no,
because customs take quite a long time.
So arrival on the 5th of the 11th. So they're expecting them on the 10th of the 11th. So they usually get. So it is tight. It's very tight. But again, we going back to when the decision was made. If you remember, we were concerned then that it was lagging.
But we were told, we were like...
I'm just trying to bring it in order. Councillor Mr Smith, you've been waiting.
Yeah, I lost the plot now. Basically, as I understood when we talked to the discussed with the flights, the company are contracted to put the lights up, but the lampposts have to be in a safe condition. They use their contractors they found that there are many places that are wrong. I might even add, even some of the continuity lights on Flowergate and Mules aren't up to modern standards. But I would recommend that we went with the lights and include the ones on Church Street, because if they're taking the lampposts down and replacing them, they should put them back up at the lamp light.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr Smith, Councillor Wild.
Can I just ask, is North Yorkshire Council prepared for women not to have any Christmas lights? Why have they been so awkward? The part of the unitary authority, and if we've got a problem with their light standards and they're not up to standard, yes, we pay for the lights, but why are they being so awkward? They're happy to brag about how many visitors we get and how marvellous it is for North Yorkshire. So why are they being so awkward? Are they prepared for the people really not to have any Christmas lights?
The point was made extremely strongly, Councillor Wild. I'll go back to Councillor Mr Smith. Was that a motion?
Motion, yes, please. Yeah,
Would you like to repeat the motion, please, and then we'll look and...
we look at providing lighting on Church Street as part of the improvement, refurbishment of the lampposts.
Do I have a seconder for that? Yeah.
Sorry, who seconded it?
Councillor Abbott, I'm going to go with. All in favour? That is unanimous.
Can I just ask the question, have we any idea whether we can actually afford to pay for them?
So
Do we actually know where the state of finances is?
we do. We can.
There was a reserve.
There is a reserve.
We used it for the neighbourhood plan.
No, we did, 10 grand for the neighbourhood plan.
No, that was a different reserve. That came out of. I believe that came out of.
Councillors.
So yeah, there is obviously there's a contingency reserve as well. But I think as well, if councillors are through you, Chair, councillors are minded, I think we should be seeking money from North Yorkshire Council with regards to.
Oh, agree, yeah. But we need to move on now.
Yeah,
sorry, we need to move on now.
Well, we voted that we do that, but what we haven't voted on, and I'm conscious of, is whether we do pay for that. I mean, was that the intention of the motion? Because that was
The
just...
intention was to pay for it, but then try and pay it back from MIC.
Have you got that?
Yeah.
But on hand on heart, I believe that it's policy that all throughout North Yorkshire, they provide the power to the base of the lamp pole. Anything extra has to be paid by the parish or
Absolutely, and we're using the argument that their engineers walked round with us, did not highlight that at the beginning of the year, otherwise we could have budgeted that within our remit. So, Councillor Amanda.
Can I also suggest that we actually dig out the contract we've got with Christmas lights and check exactly who is responsible for what, and going forwards, can I suggest that we get a legal person to look through the contracts to make sure that we don't end up in this situation again.
So yeah, I mean the contract was written by the previous clerk, so we can definitely. I'll bring that out. I was looking at it this morning, and I think we'll have for you, Chair, we'll have a Christmas lights subcommittee meeting to discuss the moving forward.
I've got Councillor Wild, Councillor Mulheron, Councillor Abbott, Councillor Mr Smith.
Can I just ask, do we have a contingency plan if they don't arrive in time, the lights? What we're going to do?
So yes, through you, Chair. So again, that was a discussion I had with them this morning. Frustrated. I mean, I was quite well. It was an interesting conversation, and we said, look, whatever happens, there's going to be a Christmas light switch on the 14th of November. So they are looking at a plan B to, if they don't arrive in time, etc., there will be a plan B, and we will be switching on Christmas lights. Well, I did say a light bulb, but no, it was going to be more than that, and it will be a good. It still will be a fantastic switch on and a fantastic weekend. No, it will be.
Councillor Mulheron, I think, was coming in then.
I was going to suggest that maybe Councillor Hall could have a look at the contract for the Christmas sites because she had more expertise in business than most of us have.
No, it will have to go through the Christmas lights committee.
Secondly, could local businesses be able to ask for contributions, voluntary contributions?
Certainly that will all come up in the Christmas lights committee meeting and we can discuss that further. I know I had Councillor Abbott, but I'm not sure if... I think Councillor Smith was before you, Councillor Abbott. Did you want to come in again, Councillor?
Just a totally section of the Christmas lights. When we went up to tender, we got the tenders in and came up with 58,000 euros for 3 years. Was the VAT included in that, or was that VAT something in the future?
I'll look at that, I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, okay.
Councillor Abbott.
Chair, mentioned the contract, and there's only a selected few going to see this contract for the Christmas light. I think, you know, there's 19 councillors. We're all concerned. We all want to know what's going on. And I think everybody should be out coming up to see the clerk and asking to see the contract, but not being refused. When I see that contract and sitting down and reading it, everybody should be able to look at the contract and do for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, anyone who's... Any member...
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, for you chair members can come up to the office and ask to see the contract.
Yeah.
Could I ask you not to do that though until we've got sufficient staff to cope, because if Phil is disturbed every day on a permanent basis, we're never going to get her ahead. So there's absolutely no issue with seeing it, but can we just be mindful until we get sufficient staff in? Any other points? Because if not, that closes this particular. Councillor Lehman?
Yeah, sorry, two items. The toilets, electrical testing. What is happening with the electrical safety testing on toilets?
Nothing at the moment.
Okay, so we're now, what, 3 years behind out of date? We are...
Very true, Councillor Lehman.
Yeah.
I think, again, the quotes, I don't think we've received a quotes yet from those companies that we're going to quote. Or maybe, so that's something again that needs chasing up. And I think we need, and I think it's been pointed out by Councillor Smith that we need a toilets meeting very soon, and that will happen very soon. Yeah. So we can discuss those issues then.
I'm going to do the unusual thing of bringing in a member of staff team indicating you could possibly...
Yeah, well what happened was when they were going to do the testing for the electrics, we put it on Checker Trade, and Checker Trade come back with 2 companies. One of them we got a quote for, and then it went to council, and the council said it was too much money. Yeah.
I can't remember that.
It was 5,100 and something pounds for the electrical testing, and the quote was by NTL. That went out to Checker Trade, and only 2 companies come back to us. So then we were told to contact Mike Clarkson. So we contact Mike Clarkson. He sent his son out because he was getting his knee done, and his son came out and he sent a quote, and the quote is somewhere, I don't know where, because the clerk has left.
We will follow this up, councillors. Again, I can't stress enough, we are picking up quite a lot of issues since we've lost our town clerk, and we are doing our best to come on top of this. Councillor Anderson.
Yeah, I feel that we then should be minuting what's happening on this table tonight, because what actually happened, from my memory, what happened was that quote was brought to full council. Full council, Councillor Abbott then suggested that he knew the firm would do it significantly cheaper, and we agreed that Councillor Abbott's contact would be contacted, but he had a week to do it in, and once that week was up, we were going to go with NTL, and that was what the clerk, and that was what the resolution of all council was, that there was a week to get that done, and then it had to be done after that. Now, I know it's gone wrong, and I'm not saying that, but we need to minute all of these things that have gone wrong, just in case we need this evidence in the future, because at the moment, everything's going wrong.
Dominic pointed out, we are going into areas now where we should exclude press and public because we are discussing commercial. If you are discussing anything where you're talking about bringing in someone and there's a financial aspect to it, we should go press and public excluded. We will raise this, it's obviously something that needs to be addressed and we will go forward on that. Councillor Abbott, did you want to come in as a final
Just
point?
do what Councillor Smith has said was that the Clarksons worked Clarksons gave a quote in, and it was something, well, off the top of my head.
We don't need...
No, off the top of my head, he broke it down to each toilet would be X amount of that, which was very substantially lower than what was written in the quote. He asked for the paperwork where all the electric boxes were from the last car. And on 3 occasions, I rang him up on 3 occasions, have you got the paperwork? Because of the short distance in time, have you got it? He said he was going to email me. He's going to do this and he's going to do that and everything. And I asked his son to go out and check him out, but it never happened. He said he couldn't go anywhere with it, so it got left in the base.
There's clearly an issue here, councillors. Nobody wants to overlook doing what this council should be doing. We will be looking into it again and we'll come back with a report because things, obviously there's been slippage beyond our control. It's things that we don't know about.
I don't think we're saying that it's in your control. What we're saying is it's been done and we can't get access for them to wait to decide.
Yeah, fair enough.
I have one other item, Madam Chair. The situation regarding payment for the banana bridge, that was being looked at. Have we heard anything back from NYC?
From the link bridge on the East Pier?
There's been nothing back from us.
Nothing back.
No. Okay.
Right, councillors, thank you for that.